seems like Islam has this internal struggle to modernize, to not modernize, to reform. You've used the word reform several times. To reform or not reform, to go back to the original sources as it was then. Now, Christianity has that issue too, and I think all religions have that struggle between fundamentalism and going back and moving forward, and what should you keep, what you should not keep. How do you see that playing out in Islam? Kind of the struggle for Islam's soul and the modernization, maybe politically, but also the modernization of Islam theologically. How do you see that moving forward or not?
First of all, I use reform with a small r, not a big R, in the sense that, I mean, the Christian reform is not exactly what we need in the Muslim world, because the Christian Reformation was basically a revolt against the Catholic Church, which had a total authority on everything, whereas in Islam, we don't have anything like that. We actually have sometimes a problem with a lack of authority, so just all sorts of groups and having their own thing. So it's not exactly equal, but I think we need reform in terms of reinterpreting religious texts in the light of the modern age. Like if you say apostasy, if you understand apostasy in 7th century Arabia during a war situation, that's one thing. In the 20th century, in a free world, if the world is freedom, it's a whole different thing. So religious texts should be reinterpreted. And so how this will happen? Well, there's of course a political side to it. I mean, the laws that governments make and so on, and there's an economic side to it. You expand education, by all sorts of things. It's like modernization in the way we know it. But how religion will cope that modernization is a theological issue. And in my book, Islam Without Extremes, I show theological tools for modernization, to look at texts, to look at the Quran, to look at what is historical, what is religious. What is really divine in Islam? What is really cultural? Or what is divine and how, in which context it was revealed? And today, the change of context would mean what in our world today? So we need a lot of rethinking on these issues. And in the Muslim world, there are intellectuals who are thinking about these issues. And maybe some of their ideas are too scholarly and buried in books. And one of my jobs in my book was to make some of the reformist ideas more accessible and appealing to a broader audience.